Hello, and welcome to Hapara's instance here for the demonstration for our Clever Day. With me, I have Scott Lewis, instructional technology coach at Frederick County Public Schools. My name is Dave Barclay. I'm a regional sales manager at Hapara. And Scott, tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you're doing over at Frederick County.
So like Dave just mentioned, I'm an instructional technology coach for Frederick County Public Schools in Winchester, Virginia. My role in the high school is really to work with teachers on a professional development level and also a classroom level to bring technology into the classroom to engage students.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, and this is, it's been great working with you on this and really looking forward to sharing what we've got here with the audience today. So for those of you that don't know, Hapara is, we're based out of Auckland, New Zealand, and we fill in the gaps in Google's education offering here. So we do things that Google will not do. So Chromebook monitoring, we've got a filtering tool, so Google will never do that. We also do things and we build upon the things that Google is already doing, and we're making them a little bit better. So think of us as an add-on to say, add benefit to what you've got with Google Classroom and add benefit to what you're doing with Gmail and say with Google Docs and Google Drive. So yes, Hapara is a tool that works within the Google suite and allows you to gain more value out of your teachers and students that are working inside the Google ecosystem. So on that here, this little slide, we'll discuss a bit more about what we do, but again, and how we match up with some of our competitors, but also how we can add into, say, that Google Classroom ecosystem. So there's screen visibility, we can focus student browsing, there's the ability to view activity by individuals, groups, and classes, and messaging of students. We also do is we build upon what you've got within Google Classroom, say with your lesson planner, content playlist, and you can see those others there and be more than happy for anyone would like to take a deeper look at what we've got. We do have pilots that we can offer out there for you to take a look at with as few as 30 students. So if you're a district that would like to dip their toe in the water, please reach out. It would be a pleasure to work with you further. So the first tool we're going to look at today is the student dashboard. So this is really for schools that are using Google Classroom, Google Drive. And what it does is it basically provides the students with an executive functioning skills that helps them work, keeps them focused, and it takes a lot of noise out of what you'll see within Google Classroom. And as a parent whose students were using Google Classroom and then moved over into student dashboard, it was just wonderful. And Scott, how's your experience been with students using student dashboard?
So, at the high school level, and I think, students as a whole, they're drowning in terms of their interactions with technology. Depending on, class to class, they'll have assignments in a multitude of different platforms. And what I love about Hapara's mission is that it essentially brings visibility, but it does it in a research-based way, based on John Hattie and Michael Fullen. And it really provides like a one-stop shop for teachers and students. And it's very teacher and student focused. So looking at the student dashboard, it really allows a student to be able to collect all of that information from these different platforms and synthesize it into one place so that they can work on those executive functioning skills. Because, frankly, that's a realm of, student learning and education that we really don't do a great job of working with students on. We kind of expect them to be able to organize themselves and, complete assignments on time. And Student Dashboard really helps them with that.
Yeah, that's great. And that's our mission really, is to help students and teachers be more efficient and effective in the classroom. So a couple of things to note here. This is a student facing tool. We've got over 1.5 million students using this around the world. We have had 0 support calls, so very easy to implement. There's no teacher training required of this. And as a special piece here with our work with Clever, we can provide this to you at no cost. So if student dashboard is, an answer you think might be good, there's actually 0 financial risk for you to try this out moving forward. So next we're moving on to Hapara Highlights. Highlights is going to provide visibility in the moment for teachers in classrooms using Chromebooks or the Chrome browser. So it works on any device, but in that Chrome browser. Inside the Chromebook, you've got essentially administrative control for that teacher over the machine. Open tabs, close tabs, focus browse students that may be off task, and then even filter beyond what your district content filter is using. Scott, how's Highlights been for you all?
Highlights is fantastic. Usually that entry point for most teachers is that, student control or that teacher control of student Chromebooks. They can work on them with digital citizenship. I try and move them in another direction. I think one of my favorite aspects of Highlights is the activity viewer. And that activity viewer lets you see what students are looking at. And it's divided into 3 sections: class activity, collaboration, and unique activity. So, if you have students moving in different directions on a research project or, working on something, you can look at that view and see where, most of the students are, and really, you can pick out that 1 or 2 unique things and use that to kind of, guide the rest of your students.
And that's a great point, is that oftentimes you see monitoring tools used in a punitive way, essentially turning that teacher into a technology warden. Hapara, we do have a series of training and support tools that will help teachers use monitoring, our monitoring tool and Highlights, as a way to not only help keep kids on task, but use it as a learning tool and a learning research to further that, the use of technology and the collaboration between teachers and students. So I'm glad you brought that up, because that's a really big push for us at the company, is to differentiate ourselves and say, this is a learning tool. It's not just a keeping your thumb on the student. We really want to guide students in making the best decisions, even when nobody's watching.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point to build on too, because looking at it, there are a couple of components to this that allows you to have a discussion with a student without it being confrontational. So one thing I used quite often, I suggest to my teachers, I like the send message aspect of this. So if you see a student that's off task, you can send them a quick message. It comes up on their computer screen, and you can get them back on task without it having to be a confrontational student versus teacher interaction.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the next piece, Hapara Workspace. So this builds on the great stuff that you're already doing, say in Google Classroom. And perhaps you think you don't need a full-fledged LMS, but something that will, allow for an easier level of differentiation and personalization within lessons here. So what we've done at the basic level is taken that stream and broken the lesson to its component parts, goals and objectives, resources from the teacher, evidence, this is where the students will put their work, and then rubrics or self-assessment. So in doing this, and then you can personalize different cards, and teachers from different classes, say you've got special ed or ELL students, can even put content in there. So you get a highly personalized view for that student that's very easy for that student to navigate through. Scott, how's your experience with Workspace been?
I absolutely love Workspace, and the teachers that I've worked with and introduced Workspace to love it as well. And I think what they love about it is it makes differentiation easy. No matter what district you're in, one of the key components in a teacher observation is, do they provide opportunities to differentiate for students? And this does it seamlessly and easily. So you can differentiate based on need, on readiness, whatever criteria you want. You can make it, accessible for any student. And I think that's the profound important aspect about this tool is, its accessibility and visibility with it.
Great, thanks. So we've talked about three big tools that we've got at Hapara, but we've continued to work. And then over the course of quarantine and COVID, we've really been hard at work to identify what those needs are that schools have and how we can further and improve our product offering. So the first piece here was our student dashboard and digital backpack. So taking on that student dashboard piece that we saw earlier, where students can get assignments and take that Google Classroom piece, digital backpack is a way for you to incorporate digital-based resources. So we've got a number, hundreds of resources that are, say, out of copyright or OER, open education resources here. And this includes textbooks, this includes working with CK12 type resources. And here you're able to get these resources in at a fraction or at no cost to the district and utilize these pieces. A lot of schools are not using textbooks any longer. They're making their own textbook. You can incorporate that district made textbook and district curated textbook into this here and very easily use that to manage assignments for your teachers and students. What's more is we can also work with your existing textbook providers and take those digital resources and manage those digital resources for you. So say you've only got 60 licenses of this, we can manage those resources moving forward. So it makes it much easier for the district managing those digital tools. The other piece here is Hapara Filter. So oftentimes, your legacy filters are category-based filters, and this is more for the IT folks that are out there and that can understand the trouble that you're working with. You're always chasing, it's a cat and mouse game between the teachers and the students. All right, what words are they getting through now that our filter's not blocking that we need to add to the block list? What game sites are now hot that we need to block out of here? It's the Google sites, it's the snake game, it's this, that, and the other thing. What we've focused on with our Hapara filter is artificial intelligence. And this artificial intelligence actually reads the page. Here's a challenge that I'd like to pose to folks watching us right now is using a student account. Just type in an out of bounds word, say weed or 420 or some drug related reference, and see what happens with the Google search results. The Hapara filter will actually read those Google search results. And if it comes up as out of bounds, it will block even those Google search results. So it's even greater filtering that you've got on top of this. What's more is that the Hapara filter also analyzes images and video in real time. So as it comes up on the student's screen, if it realizes that it's, say, a video game playthrough, it's going to block the video. If you've got a series of images that seem to be safe, but there's out of bounds images, it will just block those images, but allow the ones that are inbounds to be viewed by the student. So again, Hapara Filter using AI, it's an extension that works on Chromebooks and it also works on any other device. There's no appliance to install, and it can work on-prem and even off-site for your district. A little bit about what Hapara does once you become a customer here. We work with you. This is high tech, high touch. So you will be assigned an account manager, and this account manager is a former teacher, okay, has worked within schools and understands what your needs happen to be. So this account manager will work with you and then customize that implementation. So whatever those things need to be. If you're a smaller school district that's got one IT director that might need some assistance on the technical side, yes, we can work with there because we've got former IT directors on our implementation team. What's your professional learning? Are you a one-person shop or do you have an entire team? We can work on train the trainer. We can work on training yourselves. Anything that is going to work best for you. 24-hour technical support. So we're based in Auckland, New Zealand. So that's where our development and support is headquartered, but we also have US-based support. So if you're calling off hours, say it's after 5 p.m. Eastern time, you're going to catch somebody either in the West Coast, or if you're lucky, you get to talk to one of the Kiwis and hear that awesome New Zealand accent that they have. And then again, we've got web-based practice and web-based community, 2 million users around the world, a very active community, and a ton of resources that will help you be successful with Hapara in your district. So yes, please, let's keep the discussion going. We've got that's our App Store link down at bottom there. But yes, we do have very low cost pilots moving forward, a minimum of 30 students. That student dashboard tool can be yours at no cost as well. So Scott, thank you so much for your time today. And thank you everybody else who participated in this event. Take care.